Interview with Sergey Kogogin, Director General of Kamaz. Hello, 100% Tatarstan business platform continues its work. And with us today is Director General of a public limited company, Sergey Kogogin. Hello, Sergey Anatolyevich. You were among the leading companies which back in 2018 have approved the strategy of digital transformation in line with the Digital Technologies Federal Project. How difficult was it to be entering this digital reality, and what challenges did you have to address? Well, the first challenge was to understand what is digital platform and then convince our people to change. Any change is complex. Why should people working at their work stage should be living into the future and not be living today? We started teaching ourselves, myself, the members of the board, the top managers for a year were studying, traveling around the world, looking at the way companies using digital platforms are organized, interacting with leaders of digital transformation around the world, working with consultants, and then we started introducing this into our company, creating sandboxes, developing concepts, as well as introducing into life. Sergey Anatolyevich, digitalization is not the goal per se. What strategic goals did you manage to achieve? Well, digitalization was supposed to allow us to stay in the category of global players, because without digital you can't be producing trucks, nor for the development of not just products, but doing business. First thing is, what is a truck? And second is the technology, that how it starts with designing, as well as concludes with production and testing. And of course, the digital should be accessible in the part of the client's life. You can't do that without it. But talking about clients, the buyers are interested to see that your truck is matching modern standards. How did the introduction of digital standards technologies has changed the legendary Kamaz from the consumer's point of view? Well, that's simple to explain. Today, when we sell the vehicle to the client, we know more about it than its user. The amount of information that we are getting from that vehicle throughout the operation of it is quite large. We are collecting it, we are processing it, and we can even recommend the users on what should be done, how equipment should be operated and maintained in the short term even. At the same time, the capacity of engines, take a look, and we are going to 1,800,000 kilometers in the tests. Whilst officially we are stating that our engine should be running 1,500,000 kilometers until a capital overhaul. Thus, that's the kind of work that we are doing. Any work that we run is organized at the level of serious technical discovery. You can't design an engine and produce it without proper technological equipment. We are right now at the sci-tech center of ours. At the moment, it is the place where 1,800 people work here that design the truck itself, design the technology for a truck production, test it, as well as working at the pilot batch production line, producing those trucks for the testing by our clients. Well, you walked around, I'm impressed, I haven't seen it before, some testing platforms, testing the transmission, the cabin, etc. So even though if you call it a center, but it looks and feels like a true factory. It is a pilot batch testing ground. You can produce and test it. Are there any similar sites? Probably not in the country. This is probably the most advanced center by the number of people, etc. Well, production is first of all people. How do people of Kamaz accept new technologies? How do you teach people? Well, it's important to speak how we started. In our corporate network, we organized that we called on our employees, those who are ready to do, please fill in the questionnaire. Hundreds of people responded. We then organized a competition. We collected these people for these strategic sessions, started explaining what we see, how we see it. We brought consultants from business as well as from science who started speaking about modern approaches for the aspects of digital transformation. At the last leg, we had about 50 people. We offered them, we are funding your ideas in the course of, say, 6 months. Those who are ready to leave your current workplace and move into the project management format to develop new technologies, etc., you would welcome that. If you are not, you're staying at your current jobs and your projects, either we continue it if someone would be willing to keep leading it, or we just close it. A number of such projects are continuing developing. One is a project of space sharing, where the owners of that special equipment are meeting the clients. That works like a regular taxi platform like Uber or whatever, or Didi. You are just choosing the specific type of equipment. You are ordering what kind of vehicle or what kind of special equipment is necessary from how many hours, and we are offering such a solution on who would provide you with the respective equipment. I believe over the course of years, we will start having companies that will be, I guess, balance sheet owner of specific equipment that would be passing it into operational leasing this equipment to those who want to use a day or two or half a year. That's an important, serious business which optimizes effective use of equipment as by those who want either to own it or that need such services. There are plenty of such solutions. Those are also information systems that we develop at Kamaz. The sale of whatever elements, spare parts or vehicles they have, we created a platform that allows the dealers to inform what vehicles are not yet they have vehicles that are not yet sold, and us as well. Obviously that was before pandemic, because in 2020 at the moment we even have a deficit in the number of vehicles that are the platform working at the moment. Do I understand correctly that the demand is higher than the supply? Well, indirectly, we were not. That happened due to our corporate vacation. We didn't work for 2 weeks. Every day that we don't work to clients immediately. Isn't that great? Well, I like it too. I think it's great. And what is the role of cooperation with leading international companies play in case of Kamaz, or your cooperation with Siemens and others in the aspects of digitalization? Siemens is probably one of the most advanced companies. When we were developing our products and solutions, we were of course looking at leading companies. In case of Siemens, we are cooperating with them for quite a while. So when they started offering not only equipment control systems, but also production control systems, computational packages for our design, of course it was much easier to work with one player that supplies all our needs. There are plenty of such companies. In overall automotive industry project, we are having our own place and niche. Producers do respect us. We always have who work with. We have a senior partner, Daimler, our shareholder. Whenever we don't know something, we have access to solutions that Mercedes has. We're talking about new technologies. They allow you to show a truck or vehicle not just as a product, but as a set of, say, services, beginning from individual design down to post-sale process servicing. How do you develop those segments? Well, that's also related to digital platform. We started doing this actively, and the startups that we started having allowed us to include lots of services into the truck, and that's only the beginning of this road. That road has just started, would never finish, and that's from the point of view of the drivers. Talking about our transportation company, not the vehicle behind me, but the fourth generation truck. We were installing an electronic visualization system. When I sat in the cabin, there was a driver by my side who works for some 30 years. He was proud with the fact that he's sitting at the steering wheel of such a Kamaz, a driver from Kamaz, but the level of his driver's presentation of digital system of dispatching as well as controlling the vehicle was at the same level as if he was a good engineer, which means that we are capable to teach even senior aged people to treat trucks and modern trucks and management systems better and properly. It means that everything is done well.
These services allow a person to drive properly. So I went through this training myself, and our engineers just played a trick on me, and I was offered, and I agreed to get behind the steering wheel of a truck with a 20 tons trailer, and I started driving as I could. I drove 100 kilometers. We stopped. We got in the car with mobile training equipment, and I was after that taught how to drive vehicle correctly. I started driving back to Nabережные Челны, and the difference in fuel consumption was 5 liters. So these little things help driver to drive properly. The onboard computer gives him immediate feedback of correctness of his driving. A lot of services which establish communication between driver and the company which ordered cargo. It gives information about filling stations, the prices on gas. There's a lot of additional services about technical maintenance. I couldn't imagine it's possible. Yes, it is all in the vehicle which is behind you. Today, vehicle generates huge amount of information, and we just learn what to do with this information, how to sum up this information, how to make it useful. How we manufacturers have to do it, how to use it, how to teach our clients use this information, and everything goes very quickly. We know that you cannot you cannot use drivers without special training. In our corporate university, we have special training courses for drivers, not just theory, but also practical skills and vehicles which were built. Last year, we give it to our drivers and try, and if you have, let's see how you teach your drivers. So we learn, we will try to do that. If somebody buys our vehicle, never use untrained drivers. So we require that drivers come to our maintenance station. If you talk about our service centers, we already trained about 100 mechanics to serve vehicles of the 5th generation. This is the first time when we do it, because usually we launch new model and then services themselves train themselves to service them. But the complexity of the vehicles are so high that we cannot do it. We have to take care of training mechanics on the services and dealer centers. We try to achieve the result that any mechanic, any serviceman using our diagnostics equipment and using our digital instructions, maintenance instructions, we have special catalogs of spare parts that they can do quickly and with high quality. This vehicle behind us, this is the 5th generation Kamaz. If you compare with the leading vehicles manufacturers of the world, where is it? If we talk B7, we wanted it to build not worse but better many of them, and to be at least equal to the leading companies like Mercedes, Volvo, Scania. Just some words about this particular, the truck which is behind. This is the standard truck, and the driver must feel comfortable. It is very comfortable ergonomically. It's very comfortable for driving. It's not tiring. Vehicle monitors the driver. Vehicle would warn you if you have to stop, and it monitors the situation on the road. This vehicle probably its fuel consumption for 100 kilometers is not worse than any world leaders. What about power? Power is it's 450 horsepower. 450 horsepower. That's the optimal capacity, and this is the vehicle with its 1.5 million resource kilometers. And this is the 900 series. We designed this vehicle with the Liebherr company, and I think it's a good engine. Kamaz got good financial results this year. So, how did digital technologies help you? Digital technologies allow you to solve a number of financial problems. It's because we streamline our production lines, we increase performance, efficiency. So we have very good investment program. And we issued bonds, and we issued obligations, got credits from our leading banks. Yes, it is quite difficult for our business, but our shareholders did it because we understood if we move slower, using only money which we make on our own profit, so we will not catch up with the technical progress. So we will have a very blurred future. We will risk our future. So in 2024, we plan to start mass production of the 5th generation platform, and I'm sure that we will have good financial results. And this year, after COVID, we do have good financial results already. We have the same debts, but we increased our efficiency, so we got first profit. I have been working in Kamaz for many years, and I understand that the second half of the year will be better for us. This vehicle is electric vehicle, electric truck. Is it experiment or we just launch it in a series? As I smile when I hear it. When our R&D center showed us first concept, we didn't have any reasons to develop this product. I think that the board directors who proof budget, we decided that we must have. We decided to give some room for our fantasies. Our company spends quite a lot of money every year where we try and test our concepts. Who could have imagined that Electrobus, which I talked about, would become a serious product? This year we made more than 200 Electrobuses, and next year we plan to double it. And this product is, well, I would say, when we introduced it in July last year in Stockholm in the World Transportation Forum together with Moscow, I was there and just on this exhibition. I think that our bus was not worse than others. Well, there were three basically: Chinese, BMD, Mercedes, and ours. There is no demand for electric vehicles, commercial electric vehicles in our country, no demand. But from 2025, the ecological requirements will be so high in Europe and in the United States that there will be almost no place for the classical diesel engines. All companies develop electric vehicles. We must not lag behind. I don't know what will happen in 4 or 5 years, but Russian companies do show interest from some companies, like, for example, give us platform, and we will use them in Moscow, for example. Definitely that without electric transportation, the problem of negative impact on environment cannot be solved. And that's what we're doing. It is not a makeup, it's a real prototype which will very soon be tested. And how it works. So by the time the demand shows up, we will have a real electric truck. We hope so. Self-driving Kamaz. So how real this topic is in our country? If you want to ask if I believe in pilotless transport. Yes, I believe in this. Well, we have robots. We have robotics, cars. So there is one problem. It is the self-drive vehicles on the public roads. I know. I don't know what will happen. I can tell you. When you have a robot and a person, yes, I just cannot imagine this. But you have to understand that what we're talking, where is the border? When will we have vehicle without driver, or will have truck without cabin? But we have to get to this stage. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages. Fifth stage, no person in the vehicle. Fifth is just when person interferes sometimes. So first level is without legs, without hands. Fifth force is when a person can leave the vehicle and do something. Well, the driver must be in the vehicle, but can just do something else. And the fifth level is without person. You're sitting behind the wheel. I'm driver, and I drive myself quite often in Chelmsford. For example, you're driving vehicle during the nighttime, and the vehicle tells you that you are veering from the route. The vehicle must stay on the road. Is it correct? Yes, it is correct. You know, if the vehicle warns you, if your vehicle is very quickly approaching to the car standing behind and you didn't have time to brake and you rear-ended this vehicle, just prevention of this collision. Is it a function? Yes, it is. I remember in Germany, in Lapka company, I was testing this vehicle. It was I accelerated to very high speed, and there was the passenger car, and it stopped just 1 meter from it, which just was breaking itself. It was many years ago, and I was nervous, especially during the first cycle of testing. Now it all works, and in our vehicles, and the passenger car, it's an issue of safety mainly, and in the trucks it is a commercial. It's any accident leads to serious losses of cargo, because cargo can be very expensive, and almost all cars are leased, and if your car is in the accident you still have to pay leasing. So that is why the owners of the trucks are interested in anything which would increase the or decrease number of accidents. And this is of course about automatization. The vehicle of the future, it's just a cart, just with cart with engine. Kamaz is a huge car manufacturing plant. What else? I worked a lot looking for strategic partners, looking for shareholders, and we conducted research, and we understood that there are not many brands in Russia which are known around the world. First one was Kalashnikov, and second one was Kamaz. We do have a real brand with a real price. We did a lot to become recognizable around the world. This is our sport car, which for many years showed that whenever we have this crazy rally raids, Kamaz has been winning this racing for many years. For Russia, it's not something emotional which you can be proud of. It's safety. Such company in our country, such a big country, and we have such a truck company, well, you can be sure that in the modern world, all transportation services for any market can be done. And the last question, the future of Kamaz, how do you see it? For the last 4-5 years, we've done a lot to transform Kamaz into a modern company with the best modern technologies, and during these years we have created a product which would provide stable jobs and stable presence on the market. As for future, I'm very optimistic about future. We have foundation for Kamaz to survive any challenges and to stay successful company. Thank you very much. Let me remind again that today our guest was a guest of our platform 100% Tatarsan, was the general director of the shareholding company, Sergey Kogogin, and we continue.